Hey, it's me again. It's Jason. I'm back with another video, and I didn't think I'd be giving another update of new arrivals, recent pickups before Christmas, but here it is. Here we are, and yeah, I did pick up some more stuff. I found some killer stuff actually. Some really great synthwave stuff, a little bit of metal to show as well. When I was out and about shopping in Toronto at, of course, Sonic Boom again. One of my favorite shops. They always have, you just never know what you're going to come upon, stumble upon. And this particular day, I happened to go into the shop and they have all their sort of new arrivals the last week or so. They had a whole ton of these records that seem to have come from like a radio station, maybe. They all had really detailed notes with them. I'll show you one of the notes here because they left the notes on the records predominantly. Stuff like that, BPMs and song lengths and other information, etc. But yeah, there was a whole bunch of synth records. I am going to show you a couple of OGs, in fact, a Grail, in fact. I've been just so lucky this year getting Grails. It's really like the year of Grails. I mean, I got some Grails in previous years, but this year I think takes the cake. I'm still going to make a video. I haven't made the video yet of my best finds for 2024. I've made my top 10 for 2024 of new releases. But in terms of best finds, man, 2024 takes the cake. A lot of great stuff. All found in Toronto, whether it's at record fairs or just record shops just sitting in bins. They're not always like prime mint, near mint condition, but I'm looking for a decent price, and so I'm finding some decent prices. Now, first up, I'm going to show you a record that's playing in the background. Really cool compilation record released in 2010 by Canadian synthwave legends Psyche. These guys were out of Edmonton, Alberta, via Ontario, some of the members. Yeah, originally this record was released on Artifact Records, I think, which is a Canadian label, in 2010, and then got reissued. This is the reissue version on Dark Entries out of San Fran, which I'm a huge fan of. 2014 reissue here. Got it for 15 bucks. Quite good condition, VG plus, I would say. Yeah, and it's called Remembering Dwayne. Of course, Dwayne from Skinny Puppy, one of the original members who passed away at an early age in 1995. So, really sad story. Died of a heroin overdose, I think. And this is early recordings from Psyche, recordings from 1983 when Dwayne was featured in the band. So there you go. Pretty great stuff. Definitely for that early 80s synthwave, cold, dark wave stuff. Really a great find. One of the best records I got. I mean, all the records I picked up were really good the other day. So, first record that kind of drew my attention actually in the bins, because I've been wanting an OG copy of this. It's not synthwave, but it is post-punk. I got a Buzzcocks. This is their second album. This is Another Music in a Different Kitchen. Now, I have a reissue of this. Came out a few years back on silver gray vinyl. It sounds really decent. It's remastered, of course, but this is an OG mastering. This isn't the first press by any means, though. This is a repress in 1988 of the 1978 release by Buzzcocks. So, UK pressing on Fame Records. Logo down there, shiny. Not going to take it out of the sack here, but yeah, great Buzzcocks record, with Fast Cars and Fiction Romance on here. I Don't Mind, No Reply, Love Battery, great shit. Got to see the Buzzcocks this past year, obviously without Pete Shelley, but Steve Diggle doing the vocal, vocals at the concert. It totally worked. It was like super fun, a lot of energy, really great concert. One of my favorite concerts of the year. Maybe because I had kind of low expectations, knowing that he was doing vocal duties, but he totally pulled it off. Now, next up, some more old school synth wave, industrial. This is a solo offshoot project solo album by one of the members of Cabaret Voltaire. This is the Richard H. Kirk solo release. Never Lose Your Shadow. Just a single EP, 3 tracks. Really good record. I didn't pick it up when it first came out, but I definitely thought about it many times. This came out on Minimal Wave Records, which is that logo. Excellent label for reissues of synth, etc. And Richard H. Kirk passed away as well at the age of 65. He died in 2021. But he was founding member, along with Watson and Mallender, of Cabaret Voltaire, Sheffield Trio at first, and then became more of a duo. But yeah, this is a 2014 release that was put out before he passed away. He's got a lot of solo records to pick up, and I don't have many of them, but this one was a nice find. This is on some gray vinyl here, colored vinyl. So again, used copy that was actually pretty decent, and something I didn't have. Kind of debated because it was $20 used, but I was like, I should really pick it up. I don't see it. It doesn't come up that often, and it's actually really good. Before I show you the last record that I got there, the metal record, I got a couple more synth ones to show you here as well. Synth/techno. This was a really cool find. 4-track EP, single if you will. Again on Dark Entries. This is Bill Converse, who I think is actually from Austin, Texas, and doing some pretty cool techno. Favorite track, of course, is the very last one. So it's probably the shortest track on the whole EP, but Consulted Acid is some excellent acid house. Yeah, came out in 2016. I don't know anything more really about this artist, but I'm definitely going to be picking up some more of his stuff based on this release. The center labels. I mean, basically, as soon as I saw some Dark Entries for a decent price, I snatched them up. It's not easy to get Dark Entry records these days. They really suffered in the pandemic in terms of pressings. Couldn't get anything out. And now, of course, with our Canadian dollar being in the shitter, it looks like it's going to be the used market for a while. It's going to be hard to order brand new records out of Dark Entries out of San Fran. Or ordering records from this label, also from the States. I think this label's actually based out of Seattle, maybe. It's West Coast. Minimal Wave Records again here. And this record, which is really cool, this is something I did not know, although I think I feel like I've seen this record once before in the bin. Album's called Lickin. It's DZ Lectric and Anthon Shield. They might be French because the performances are definitely in France. This is a recording of some material from that was recorded live at a festival in Bordeaux, France. Or the picture is from a live shot in Bordeaux, France in 1985, 86. And the recordings are from 1985. Pretty cool stuff. A little bit experimental, a little bit industrial. And this is a 2013 Minimal Wave release. Yeah, so the DZ Lectric and Anthon Shield are C. Desert and Michel Lecomte. One of them being former member of Die Poupée, which I have shown before. Die Poupée, the puppy, or the doll. Anyway, I don't know, but very cool European synthwave experimental industrial on Minimal Wave. And that brings us to the grail of the bunch. I mean, the Buzzcocks was not a full grail, but it was definitely something on my grail list, I guess. But this is a record that I've needed for many, many years. I don't think I ever had this on vinyl as a kid, but I always had the cassette. And it's the album that I discovered this band first with. I've already made mention of one of the members early on in this video, which I don't think he's on. I don't know if he's on this release or not. He might be on other releases, but nevertheless, I'm talking about Skinny Puppy. I'm wearing the shirt today. Skinny Puppy Bites album. their second album or first album, depending on whether you consider that first one an EP or a full length. I have sort of come around to this being the second album these days, just because I think of Remission as the first album. But yeah, this is so wicked. I mean, it's the best Skinny Puppy record maybe that they put out. The next 3 or 4 are really good too. So I don't know. It's hard to decide, but it's the first one that I discovered them on. So of course it holds a special place. But you have The Choke, Assimilate, Film, Icebreaker is really cool. Last Call, it's all really good. So not a bad price either. Pretty decent price for this OG press. It is not the first press of the record, which is 1985. This is a 1986 Canadian pressing. So the labels look slightly different, ever so slightly different. Well, they are the beige-ish network / Capitol Records labels. The first press I think is all black, and I actually have a reissue of this record. A bunch of reissues came out for a while of Skinny Puppy records, and I picked it up, and which has like sort of the black label. But anyway, nice to get an OG copy, and this late in the year, so I can still make my video of best finds for the year. Now, wrapping it up, what I got at Sonic Boom, I might put a part 2 to this video with some more Amazon finds as well. We'll see. And they will probably be in the metal category. So it's kind of funny. You go into a shop and you're kind of in a mood. I've been sort of in a metal mood lately, looking for metal stuff. I end up seeing all these amazing industrial synthwave stuff, so I had to pick them up. But I still want to get something metal, so I dug deep into the bins, and I pulled out a nice reissue of an old album by Primitive Man, the first album actually by them, their debut. It's called Scorn, and it is some heavy sludge metal out of Colorado, I believe these guys are from. Their 2013 debut. This is the 2023 anniversary reissue on some rather garish, ugly looking splatter. Totally distracting from the music, but anyway, it is what it is these days. I don't know, I guess people would like to look at that more than this. But to me, cover art, I mean, the album cover is for the art. I mean, I think that like the cover, the artwork goes on the cover, not on the vinyl. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Now, another story too is paper sleeves. I've recently gotten back into full-fledged. Not that they're the best thing in the universe, but I got extremely scared recently with plastic sleeves. Maybe I'll do another video, separate video on that. But watching, some videos talking about some of the plastic sleeves, especially if they're made with like cheap recycled goods, leaching and discoloring vinyl, leaching onto the vinyl and discoloring the vinyl, making it hazy. And I have noticed a couple of records like that, enough to start pulling all these thick plastic inner sleeves. I don't know if you guys remember these. They're very non-see-through in a way, a little bit hazy. Now, some of these may be totally fine and legit, but some of them may not be. How would you determine one versus the other? So in that case, I just started pulling them like crazy. I've kept obviously like the thin MoFi kind of inner sleeves. Those ones I think are okay, and obviously like stuff that came from the labels, like this Enforced record, for example, came with the paper with the inner plastic. Fine. But otherwise, paper, I mean, the biggest complaint with paper is that it rips, so then you just replace it. I've been putting records in paper since, I don't know, 1945 or something, and sure, you could get some scuff marks, but I think I'd rather have some paper scuffs at this point than plastic leaching onto my vinyl and discoloring it. So that's my update. I'll see you guys soon.